Hi friends, Mrs. Cordero is going to read The Bumblebee Queen today. Let's listen to the story, The Bumblebee Queen by April Pulley Sawyer, illustrated by Patricia Wine. Before we begin, I want you to wonder about the Bumblebee Queen. What do you notice on the cover? What do you wonder about her? The Bumblebee Queen. Let's make sure you can see it. The Bumblebee Queen begins the spring below ground and all alone. Bumblebees are native to North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. There are 250 bumblebee species. She digs out, she flies, hungry she seeks flowers. She drinks nectar with her long, hairy tongue. I did not know they drink from their tongue. That's an interesting fact I just learned. She begins to search behind the barn, behind the lake. She buzzes around the bushes, between the fields. Bumblebees rarely sting, but they will sting in defense and can sting more than once. Defense means that she's protecting herself. What have you learned so far about the Bumblebee Queen? She is looking for a place to build her colony. A puddle? No. A bush? No. An old mouse nest? Yes. Bumblebees nest in the ground or in sheltered mossy grassy places such as old mouse nests or abandoned bird houses. Queens have even nested in teapots before. I hope she's not in my teapot. Now she prepares. She visits flowers and drinks nectar. She makes a waxy cup called her honey pot. In it she stores nectar that she will eat on stormy days, when it is not good weather for flying. Did you know the bee's body produces wax that squeezes out in little tiles from between the segments of her abdomen? An abdomen is her belly. She pulls off the tiles with her feet and then chews them to form her honey pot. She forms some of the pollen into a lump. She lays eggs in it and adds a wax covering. After the eggs hatch, the queen chews a small hole in the wax covering and pushes in food to the larvae. The larvae are her little babies in there. In 5 days, the eggs hatch. They are lumpy, plump larvae. No buzzing, no flying, just wiggling. The larvae eat pollen. The queen brings more. The larvae grow, wriggling and chewing. Show me your best wriggling. As the larvae grow bigger and bigger, the wax covering cracks. The queen repairs it and enlarges it. She's a very busy bumblebee. Then one spring day, the larva spins cocoons. Cocoons, I'm making a connection with the word cocoons. Who else makes a cocoon? Do you know? The larva spins cocoons 10 to 14 days after hatching. The outer layers of silk harden and yellow. So the larva no longer needs the wax covering off of the pollen clump for protection. The queen gets rid of the extra wax. But the queen bee keeps working. She collects nectar, she gathers pollen, she lays more eggs. In between her other duties, the queen snuggles up to the new eggs. Heat from her body goes through a bare patch on her abdomen to warm the eggs. What has this bumblebee done so far? In 10 days, the cocoons ripen. It's kind of like an apple. When an apple ripens, it's fresh and yummy to eat. So the cocoon ripens, the queen chews them open. Bees emerge, wings fanning. Now the queen has helpers. Worker bees are gray when they emerge, but their adult coloring starts to show in a few days. The new workers gather nectar and pollen and feed the larvae. The first worker bee of the season are the smallest. Later in the season, the workers are bigger. This may be partly because as the colony grows, more workers can gather more food for the larvae. Summer simmers. The colony grows. The queen lays more eggs. Some from workers, some form drones, some will become new queens. Here is a queen, a worker, and a drone. Workers are females that are smaller than the queen. Workers do the hive chores. Drones are stingless males whose only job is to mate to help produce next year's bees. A bumblebee colony can contain from 30 to 400 bees. So think of 30, meaning like maybe a classroom size, and 400 bees. That's like our whole entire school. In fall nights, chill and flowers shrivel. New queen bees and drones emerge from the hive. Scientists aren't sure what signals an egg to become a queen or a worker. I'm listening to the story and I'm thinking, wow, bees do lots of things in the summer and in the winter and in the fall. They do different things in every season. Drones form many colonies. They zoom across the field, dabbing drops of bee perfume. New queen bees follow the perfume highways to find drones and to mate with them. Workers, drones, and queens all eat nectar. Any extra nectar that is not eaten by the bees right away is kept in honey pots. As water evaporates from the nectar, it becomes honey. The new queens drink nectar, search for soft earth, then dig up and wait for spring again. While underground from fall to spring, the new queens go without food, sometimes as long as 6 months between meals. But the workers, the drones, and the old queen bees stay above ground. They cannot survive in the cold, so they die. Old bee, queen of the bumblebees, won't see next spring come, but her daughters, the new queens, will fly across the fields and build colonies of their own. In northern Canada, the entire bumblebee season is only a few weeks long, but in the southern United States, colonies may last for many months. Near the equator, bumblebee colonies may live year-round. So it all depends on the temperature of where they live. Friends, I really enjoyed reading this story to you today. You are going to get a couple questions to answer. If you need to go back and listen to the story again, go ahead and do that. And I really hope you enjoyed learning about bumblebees with me today. Have fun.